They built systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations, now awakening a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour. When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever. Skileman! across every border. Skileman, a new world order, not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman! The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour. When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever. Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world
billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman! The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour. When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever. Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world order. Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill
runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awakening a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world order. Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman!
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They built systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour. When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever. Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world order. Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman! The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure. They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour. When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever. Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world order. Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman! The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure. They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awakening a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour. When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever. Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world order. Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman. The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure. They build systems for money.
A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning.
हाँ
not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman! Across every border! Skileman! A new world order! Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman!
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awakening a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen. Millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands. A billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember Who built the future? And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman! Across every border! Skileman! A new world order! Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman! Skileman!
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awakening a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world.
Skileman! We are the movement. Skileman! The future is human.
From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization.
Skileman! The engine of nations. Skileman! The rise of creation.
We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman! Across every border! Skileman! A new world order! Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman!
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen. Millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands. A billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman! Across every border! Skileman! A new world order! Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman!
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen. Millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands. A billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization. Skileman, the engine of nations. Skileman, the rise of creation. We connect the hands of humanity into one living economy. From local streets to global power, this is our defining hour.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman, across every border. Skileman. A new world order, not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman. Skileman.
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement. But nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awakening a greater age. The welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen. Millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands. A billion dreams across the lands.
Good day, everybody. My name is Marcel Bakuri, and I am very happy to have you all right here for our first virtual conference. Before I proceed ahead to what we're having today, I would love to apologize for the inconvenience. We actually started late than we intended to, and I sincerely apologize for that. It was not intentional. Once again, thank you for joining us for this amazing moment. It's a privilege to experience this entire process with you guys. So I'm going to be introducing the CEOs of this amazing vision, which is Seth Jukes and Alex Jukes. Handing it over to them. Hello, Mr. Alex and Mr. Seth Jukes. Mr. Alex and Mr. Seth Jukes. Yeah, so we're handing it over to you guys to tell us about this vision. Yeah, so I said we are live now, and there are people who have heard about Skileman. They have come here to hear about the vision, to hear what it's all about and what it entails. So we'd like to hear from you guys what you have to say about this.
Okay, so today I'm briefing. What we're talking about Skileman, and what we'll be expecting to see in the launch. Okay, so today according to our rundown, this is the Skileman app launch briefing. This is whereby you come to understand how Skileman functions, how it operates, to form to create a picture of what we are actually releasing to the public. So we are creating a system whereby individuals, key personnel can have access to finds connection, because we have come to understand in Nigeria in general, they have an issue with the connection problem. Okay, when I talk about connection problem, I'm talking about um, having access to this professional, having access to these professionals, and also having access to a client. So the work, the global scale have been not balanced for a long while. So we are creating a platform called Skillman, which today is the app launch for everyone to witness the birth of the giant is born. Okay, so this is something that we are going to be talking about. So I think it's going to be wonderful. So as we continue, come to understand what we are actually doing in the long run. Okay, so I have to take for now.
So what we're going to be doing currently now is to connect uh, schema and slide so we can also explain about the schema project.
So we have heard what we had to say. You guys have heard the CEOs of economy talk. We are going to be moving on to the next speaker. You guys hear me?
Okay, continue.
So I didn't majorly get what you said.
Okay, this is slide. James is born as a child. Okay, so we'll go with that with the slide.
Okay, so thank you so much for also being here. We're going to be explaining about the giant is born as a child. So related to today, we'll be talking about the Skileman launch briefing. And the Skileman launch briefing is something we have been uh, working towards, like since last year up to this point. We have been working for to build an independent economy for the human skills. So although you can see what's already on the screen, if you have been following or if you have access to the screen, you can see. And you can see that the giant is born as a child. So this 30th of May and the conference is live. So move further in our slides. Okay. So right here we have the world has skills but lack infrastructure. So the world have skills all over the world. But the problem of what the world is facing today is lack of an infrastructure for human skills. And across Africa and the world at large, millions of professionals are out there across Africa.
also billions of professionals like all over the world. But the world faces of the Skileman project is to make sure that we are building a perfect infrastructure capable Skileman is a solution, and this is a massive opportunity to everyone out there. We are just beginning at this very time, but we are still going to continue growing and advancing. So sorry for some technical issues, because we're having some technical issues, but it's going to be fixed, and even as it has already been fixed. But we hope for a successful uh, virtual conference. Even at this point, if you have someone maybe you want to invite, you can also invite them to the conference. Though we'll proceed. So we say that across Africa and the world, millions of talents. We have millions of talents, youth, labor, and creativity. Yet these massive skills remain scattered. That is, skills remain scattered and also invisible and under monetized, meaning that skills are not monetized as the way it should be. Because the world does not have the true infrastructure for human skills. So what we are currently introducing is an infrastructure for the human skills. And we are bringing this infrastructure to solve a problem that the world is currently facing. So at this point of time, we are trying to brief you a bit on the app launch, which more details will be given to you. But we'll still progress with the slides and we'll still move forward. So I've talked about the problem that the world is lacking, so we'll progress. So the another thing we're also going to be looking at is the two-sided friction in the skill economy. So we have the professional void, which is uh, before going to that, I'll just talk about the two major headlines. We have the professional void, and we also have the client void. So these are two frictions that's currently happening in the skill economy at large. So when it comes to the professional void, um, we're looking at skilled individuals who remains invisible. So skilled people are invisible all over the world. And because they're invisible, they can't get the kind of clients that they need to have. But they can't get them. So the reason for the Skileman platform is coming to solve this, but we're just going to be stating them out and try to break it down according to what is on the slide. The slide will also help you to follow along while we are also going to be speaking. So another part of the professional void, that is the gap or the emptiness which professionals are currently facing. We also have lack of mechanism to prove credibility. So there's no proper system that helps them to prove their credibility. And that's why the Skileman platform is designed to help skilled professionals build credibility as an individual. Because when they become credible, that is when people start to expecting their skills, their expertise, and the rest of it. So this is what your Skileman is also going to be helping professionals fill up these gaps. And another is that they cannot easily access clients or build reputation. So these are just like serial problems that professionals are currently facing. And the system as an infrastructure is to solve this issue, is to solve this problem. Then from the professional end, they also have a void, a gap that's currently missing as it concerns the professionals. There's a gap that currently, an empty space when it comes to the client. So I'm talking about the client now.
So the client faces difficulties. So these difficulties are difficulties in finding trusted workers. So it's not as though they are not workers. Most of the time, they're also workers. But clients are also facing that issue. Professionals are also facing an issue. There's a lack as it concerns the professional, and there's also a lack as it concerns the client. So most of the times, even personally to myself, that some experiences, maybe I want to meet up. Let's say I want to barb my hair and I want to go to somewhere. Sometimes I find it hard maybe going to a hair salon. Some hair salon might also be occupied at some time. But finding such a person that will just come from the comfort of my home and they come to my location and uh, render the service, which is the service of a barber, most of the times it's very difficult accessing them. And what I'm saying is not just for barbing alone, it's across different skills of life. And that's why Skileman is also designed to fill this gap. These are the gaps that I want to fill up. I want to occupy this gap so there'll be nothing like an infrastructural gap when this infrastructure scales. So that's one of the professional void, the client void, sorry to say. So the unsure, we are kind of, in clients are kind of like unsure about who is nearby or available. So there are some clients, they don't know who is nearby. Let's say the barber that I might be looking for might be nearby. They might be close to my environment. Unless I'm trying to look for a gardener, I'm trying to look for one that manages waste, like a waste management system. So most of the times you'll find out that we can't access these people. Not as though they are not within our environment. They are within our environment. But we have problem reaching out to these people, reaching out to them. That's the problem we currently have. So we are going to be able to track who is nearby, who's close by in our location. We should be able to track that. That's the purpose of this infrastructure. It's part of the purpose. Although you have many other things that it's going to be solving. That's also part of what Schema will be doing. And again, we also look to the fact that um, clients cannot verify professional upfront. So they can't verify like this professional is legit, this professional is credible. You can't really verify like this professional is someone that's credible, except maybe in the past you have worked with him. But you can't verify someone like for the first time, very first time. Why can't you do that? It's because there's no system that can gives you a summary of that professional's data. No system that actually does. So we still progress in part of the slide. These are one of the things that Schema is coming to solve. And when we're also looking at why the existing platform failed as an infrastructure. So we already have existing platforms, lots of existing platforms. Even as I'm talking to some of us, at some point you also be wondering like, is this Schema as kind of the only jobbing platform? There are many jobbing platforms, but we don't have a jobbing infrastructure, and that's what we are coming to do for skills, for the human skills. So that's what we are dedicated to. So why existing platforms fail as infrastructure? They fail when it comes to an infrastructure, but they survive as a platform and they have been moving on as a platform. So the capability, we're going to look at the capability and random referrals, social media, directories, and the rest of them. So these are the part of the things we're going to be looking at. So when it comes to capability, the area of capability, we have verified trust, meaning that professionals who are verified also have structured booking system because these are part of the capabilities. I'm trying to talk about why most platforms trying to come out as an infrastructure, they do fail. So the reason why they are failing is because part of what they have not looked into is a system that can uh, verify trust, a system that verify that this professional is trustworthy to have easy to access a professional. That's what we're looking at. because it's structured booking. Because in this structured system, economic loop, and also scalable identity. So when it comes to the verified trust, um, we have random referrals, like they're kind of high but limited. So we have, like, when it comes to verified trust, there are most people you can verify a professional because maybe someone knows them and they will tell you that this person is trusted. Maybe I worked with him, but the scale of that is kind of limited. So how far you can verify a professional, meaning you only be leaning on people that knows those professionals. So how about a system that knows about every professional that you need? That's what Schema platform is coming to bring to the table. So this is just a brief. Remember, today is our launch day, and we'll also give you more insight. So social media is a low standard of verifying a professional. Social media is kind of a low standard. Mhm. So what we would just progress. But we don't use maybe social media as a kind of a medium to verify if a professional is trustworthy. It has low credibility. We don't use it. But although some persons can make videos about that, but that's not really what we are looking at. We are looking at something, a system that verifies the professionals you're working with by medium of KYC. We have KYC process that's also going to be introduced. So every professional can be trackable. If anything goes wrong, you know who to track. Directories are low, but the Skileman system is a systematic profile. Also have the area of structured booking, like random referrals are not structured booking. If someone's trying to refer a professional to you, it's not a structured system of booking. You're just using referrals to get who you need. That's why you'll be saying that, at least you know someone that is a carpenter. Sometimes some work fade off because of the fact that you can't get to those people. So that's why you need Schema. You need Schema as a platform. And social media is not a structured booking, so you can't say other social media is currently existing as structured booking system. No, it's the wrong thing to look at. And directories also none. But Skileman is also is a social network that's integrating a structured system of booking. Then in economic loop, it's broken by referral, and social media it even doesn't exist. Such an economic loop, meaning that it recalls like over and over again. You can access this scale economy through an economic system. So it doesn't exist on social media. Same about the scalability of identity. It's poor. So we just move further to continue with the rest of the slides. We'll try to cover up as many as we can cover. So we also hear from our guest speakers that are going to be live. So Skileman is a coordinated system, or is a coordination system. And as in part of the Skileman is a coordination system. It means that it coordinates. And what is it currently coordinating? It's coordinating the skill economy. That's what it's coordinating. So the app is newly, um, just want to confirm this, is merely the entry point. It's merely the entry point. Skileman is building a comprehensive infrastructure layer, coordinating professionals, businesses, both learning and identity. So these are part of the things that Skileman will be doing. So we are merely at the finish level. We are far from it. But in part of what Skileman is doing as a coordination system, just know that it's going to be coordinating across jobbing, and verified identity, learning, and the rest of them. We have a lot of things to coordinate. Then the convergence of the journey. The platform is mathematically engineered interaction where social discovery um, transition into structured economic activities. So it's social. It's social. Even that's why when we say we're launching Schema as a platform, it's a social network, but it also integrates um, the economic of skills and economic loops that you can access. Skill is recurrent. So that's why we say Schema is a mathematical platform or is mathematically engineered for interactions where social discovery transitions into structured economic activity. So this is what we'll be looking at schema. So at the platform, what I'll just be touching on is that it registers, it builds identity, it showcases skills, and it also gains visibility. And you enter the platform, you search for skills. That's um, from one part we can refer that to the professional, and the other part we can refer that to the client. So in the aspect of the client enters into the application, you search for skills, you discover professionals. So when you are searching for maybe a professional, you can discover them on the system, and you also validate profiles. You can validate it, it's up to you. So those are things you can do. So it's a privilege, quite a lovely one. You are still going to hear about the MVP, like what's next. You're still going to hear many other things. So the MVP Foundation, the MVP Foundation, okay? So which we have professional profiles, a digital identity for skills, and also credibility and early stage trust. So this professional profile, these are the MVP Foundation, like what you're going to be experiencing the entire MVP. So this is what you can look at it on the screen, uh, from your screen, whatever place you're watching us. So and the MVP is quite broken down into numbers of factors like professional profile. People would have professional profile, but not quite at the early stage. They will also be able to, there's a discovery system to discover skill professionals, and there's also booking direction, a booking direction, which is the beginning of structured service transaction. Transactions are also going to begin in the MVP. Well, this is just an app launch. We're just giving you the entire like scope of the MVP app launch. We also have a social layer and environment for professionals to build presence. So professionals are not only people that are barbers, carpenter, and welders. These are people that some of them are content creators. They are creatives. We call them creatives now. So they are going to render their services, making content, well, meaningful content this time because whatever content you are making will be tied to a real verified identity. Then the bridge to economic reality. I think there's a bridge to that, which we have the Skileman app launch and we have the Skileman business launch. And the bridge between that is the 5,000 professionals, which Mr. Alex will also give a guide about that. So you can also make them understand the bridge between the app launch and guide, because majority of persons that
Yes.
is also view what we are
Okay.
currently explaining right now about the briefing, don't know about maybe the bridge process.
Okay.
So you can talk about the app launch and business.
Okay. Okay. So that's a good one. So we have the app launch, which is the first layer, the first the number one here, which talk about the visibility of the project. So now the app launch is just like the first introduction of the platform to the public, whereby people can see and interact with the social future. That's just the basic view of what we talk about app launch. So when the app is out, you are going to see first the social feature. I've been saying that in our segment. What's going to be released first, the community's social feature, whereby we can interact ourselves and like, comment, and do the same thing we do on Facebook. But in all this, between the app launch and the business launch is a bridge, which is the first 5,000 professional, which has to be registered. Now, some of them say, Nigeria is big. We have a lot of people. We have over 240 something million people. Can 5,000 people really do the job? Now, we already have an answer to that. That is, we are in our app launch or the business launch, we are launching it first on a flagship state, which we could talk about River State, Port Harcourt to be precise. Now, we are talking about um, the professionals. Some people say, is schema going to be at the use of everybody? Maybe everybody can we use schema? Yes, we can use schema as a social platform first. But for the booking feature to be out and working and running, 5,000 professionals need to register. And first, we are registering these people in River State. River State. Now, this particular professional is precise. As okay, we say we are registered down in River State. We are talking about the first working system. We are testing how it runs before going to national scale and continental scale. So this is the basic understanding of it.
Okay.
So maybe if I want to go in detail a bit because of some people. Now, um, we launching on okay. We before we get this 5,000 professional, that will be after that will be like 2 weeks after the app launch. 2 weeks after the app launch, then you'll be hearing about registration of the business of the professionals.
Professional.
Then they can now start registering. But what we are doing now, that is like testing. So we are testing social future to know how it's functioning, to know how it's, to know to get maybe feedback from you guys so that we can know okay this needs to be worked on. Yeah, this needs to be worked on. Then that's why we say the testing phase. That's why I said the testing phase. Okay, I'll just go to the next business phase so that we can run out to the slide. We're done with the slide. So we're talking about the business MVP business launch. Now, the MVP business launch. The MVP business launch. I will just go there for this, so that you can know what we are doing. Yeah, so you can know what we are doing. Now, we won't talk about MVP business launch after the registration of the 5,000 professional. Then business can start because you cannot just go to the booking platform and look for a professional. There's no one there. And that's the need of the 5,000 professionals that need to be registered in River State. So booking is going to be available in River State after the 5,000 professionals. Then when we have understand the system, then we scale it national, then globally. That is all about this slide. So I think we'll be going to the next slide. We can go ahead.
Okay. So, hmm, okay. So I'm going to also address the fact of what actually supposed to qualify the MVP app launch. We have said this in our past seminar, like previously. So, in activating of the visible child, because the goal of this seminar or the theme of the seminar is that the giant is born as a child. So we are coming to make this child visible. But what exactly actually qualifies this is that we're supposed to have reached a target of 10 million naira in capital. In capital. So we're supposed to, like many of the revenue partners have really assisted, and we are saying thank you to all of you who have contributed. So we have seen people who have been purchasing some of our SKM units, our GT, which are our revenue unit in some. So people have been purchasing it, understood the vision, they want to be part of the scale economy, and they kind of like the Skileman product. So it's interesting, and we're happy to see people purchasing those units. So the units which have been sold was supposed to reach the threshold of raising a capital of 10 million naira that we can deploy the app launch properly. But we were not able to arrive at the rate of 10 million in terms of capital. But we are growing, are growing. A time will come that we are not going to be talking about 10 million. It's not something that we're supposed to be reasoning about. It will be like change. But at of the early stage, even someone that's only seen us maybe out there, a true potential investor will know or understand what I'm saying. Because this is something that someone can just come into the system and put in 10 million. You don't need to be a group of people to raise 10 million. But because of the stage we are currently at, that's why we have been trying to even crowdfund a bit, will I say so, for the sum of 10 million. So that is it. So the capital is dedicated entirely to the MVP activation, like stabilization, launch preparation. Those are the things we have been doing. We have been trying to manage up even with the little we have. So it is a critical phase to build an absolute credibility before the larger infrastructure to scale. So this is just a critical phase. It's very, very critical as of this phase. But this is not the full capital for the project. The full capital for the project is beyond that. So I think, okay, this summarizing. But the full capital for the project, just to make you to understand, it's $20 million. That's converted in Nigerian naira. It's supposed to be the sum of 27 billion in naira. So this is what you just have to know. But we are just trying to raise Like gradually, we are progressing. And
Yes.
the time will come, we would not be talking about such amount of capital. We'll be raising in billions of dollars because the infrastructure is massive. Even a $20 million is still going to go a long way. Going to go a long way. So the launch support structure. If also you still want to support the launch, we are still in the app launch phase, you can still support the launch by purchasing your unit. You can purchase your unit. So we dedicated 200 SKM units as part of the bonus. Because before now, not currently, before now, the SKM unit was sold for 100,000 naira per unit, in case you don't know. But some persons are hearing about Skileman, we're selling our revenue unit for the sum of that's 50,000 naira. So, and just to make you understand what I'm saying, although we still give a little time for you to know about the revenue unit. If in case you are new, I'll talk about the revenue unit briefly. But it's a capital asset that people are purchasing to be part of the schema system. It's a capital asset. So people was buying it just like some people buy shares, for example. Some people buy shares, some people will invest money into Tesla, into like Dangote shares is coming up. So people are going to buy shares. But we are not selling shares. We are selling something unique, which is called revenue unit, an innovative model of revenue sharing, by which as our project is generating capital, this is a global project. Why is generating capital? Everyone gets a slice of it. So people have been purchasing this revenue to be part of the ecosystem. And before, to purchase a single unit of SKM, because you have two units, which you have SKM unit, you also have GT unit. To purchase a single unit of SKM was 100,000 naira as of before. Then why the GT unit was 7,000 naira. I mean, 10,000 naira as of before. But we had a bonus. So the SKM unit was slashed by 50%, which is currently sold at 50,000. I would say that 200 units are going to be sold out before the bonus elapsed. But we are not majorly tying it to a specific milestone of 200 units being sold out. As long as the MVP app launch have begun and have officially started, the price will be switching over to 200,000. So if you are still listening to us today, you have the time, the opportunity, the chance to be part of the ecosystem, purchasing at 50,000 instead of 100. So this is not Ponzi scheme, are not Ponzi scheme. So we are going to be wrapping up around this corner. I'll just give the sellers a chance to break the revenue unit, what's all about, like, so people can understand what it's all about. Is it a kind of shares, or is it
Okay.
something that is it a Ponzi money? Like, how, what is
Okay.
the reward? What are they
Okay. No, I'm receiving this um,
question?
question a lot. Someone said, "Oh, how much are they going to make?" I say, "Oh, they say, will they be making 1,000? Will they make a million?" So, the system does not promise you a guarantee money because it's a revenue unit. It's not equity that have a fixed value or price that they're giving. So it's function on transaction base. Just look like we have Uber, we have Bolt, but I'll talk about Uber because it's the giant of mobility. So now Uber currently now is transacting over 44 million to 60 or 50 million transactions per day. Now these are investors or those who own that share don't have a slice of this. They only have a stock value. They don't have a slice of this. Now this is two different parts of okay, let me use an example that can clarify this a bit. That's for example, we have the borehole. We're using a tank, for example. We have the borehole and the tap which we're using. And we have um, okay, the borehole and the tap we are using for the revenue unit. Then we're talking about the shares, talking about somebody owning just the tank with the water inside. So if the value of the tank increase, you gain. Maybe somebody does buy that tank, maybe 20,000 or 50,000. If the value of the tank increase, you gain. If it reduce, you lose. That's how stock function. But the revenue unit does not function like that. That's what makes it unique. Now, the revenue unit have two functions, two benefits for our revenue partners. They have two benefits for our revenue partner. And the number one benefit for our revenue partner is one. is the revenue stream, which is the analogy of a tap. You can keep on that tap, and that ball is running consistently. You can fill every rubber in your house, and you have sufficient water, and keep on running. So we are talking about a stream of income that does not end. Now, the other benefit for the revenue partner, we have the price of the unit. Look, just like some people got the revenue then at the first time, that was when we started. And one scam was that was 15,000 naira. Yes. Now that person holding that one scam, he has the ability to sell it, and when the shares is fully updated and the business is running, he has the ability to sell it. Maybe he bought it for 15,000, and by then one scam is 500,000. That's the benefit. Still function like the way stock is. So depend on how many units was able to secure, but on how much you can also sell out this revenue unit. So we also create that opportunity whereby people can also utilize that asset if they want to sell it, maybe for an emergency purpose. Yes. So it's more flexible. It's more flexible than just shares. That's just the analogy for that. Okay.
Okay, so just continuing, I think okay, the ecosystem and participation is not equity. We just want to give you this as a disclaimer so that you understand what I'm saying. So, in part of our disclaimer, we have a clear disclaimer, even in our posts on WhatsApp or anywhere we're trying to post. So, we have a clear disclaimer that revenue units are structured ecosystem participation units connected to real transaction, not traditional fixed dividend. Meaning that our revenue units are not shares. They are not shares. So, our revenue units, which are not shares, are um, transaction. It's tied to real transactions. So any transaction that's done on Schema platform, as simple as it is, if you book a plumber, you are going to get, um, if you're a revenue partner, you're going to have a percent, a slice of that money, even though you are the one that booked the barber. Or if someone else or millions of persons are doing this on Schema platform, you would aim. So it doesn't work like shares. It's not something that you imagine in the mindset of maybe shares. It's what we call revenue unit, tied to real business transactions. Those are part of schema revenue unit. This is what you just need to know. So anytime a rate transaction is going on the platform, you have your commission on the platform. So that is a nice one. That is something you also need to take note of. So it will define the revenue unit architecture in the early positioning matter because of the absolute value of this fixed structural percentage, uh, which scales indefinitely as transaction volume grows. So it's not limited; it continues to grow. It's just like uh, the tap that was used for an example. As long as the tank is filled and water is coming to the tank, the tap would always reap the fruit of water. Water will always pass through the tap. So that is what you have to know. So we're done with uh, this one. I think maybe we'll be handing back to our host or guest speakers and also we can hear from them. So we have the long-term transaction vision. So in our part of our long-term transaction, although we don't really have much time, we want our guest speakers to come on board so you can listen to them. So our host, you are also present. Uh, yeah, our host. So in our long-term transaction vision, the 50, we're looking at 50 million transactions, 50 million transactions daily on the platform. That's our projection. Where we're going to be getting like 50 million transactions daily on the platform. And with an average of 20,000 naira, which means that the platform can generate a trillion. So we have 50 million transactions and we have up to uh, 20,000 naira per each of those 50 million transactions will give us up to a trillion in projections of daily revenue. So this is something that There's a payment, like the manual documentation process for people that want to partner. You can see from payment, after you are paid, you get verified, which we can confirm that your payments are done. It will be documented, you'll be allocated your unit on Sherik's platform. And also Sherik's reflect those units. Your units will be reflected on Sherik's. So we'll go back to our host. I don't know what she said.
Okay, that was a wonderful presentation from CEOs, such truths and other truths. I took guys heard them talk about the MVP shares and also the vision behind Skileman. So we're going to be moving over to the next guest, which is Dr. Wenbo Emmanuel. He is a CNA. He's a cybersecurity professional. He's going to be throwing us insight into government regulations, emerging skilled professionals. Dr. Bengo Emmanuel. So I think he's having some issues. So let's give him time for him to connect.
My name is Benny Boy Mandela, PhD. We're talking about government regulations in emerging skilled markets. When we talk about emerging skilled markets, we're talking like sectors in tech, fintech, advanced manufacturing, renewable energy, healthcare tech, logistics tech, creative economy. In this my session, we're bringing about strategic insight into regulation structure, compliance, and the structure of organized skilled market systems in emerging economies. Now, when we talk about this government regulations, we'll be taking away 3 points, which is formalizing first, second, get licenses early, the third, build compliance into your products. Formalization and tax-based expansion. These are mandatory exercise which we do to get our business legalized by registering your business in the Corporate Affairs Commission. When you register your business in the Corporate Affairs Commission, your business idea is now actualized and notified by the necessary authorities. Now, since would I say innovations have moved from no rules to smart rules, we have that when you register your business in the Corporate Affairs Commission, the necessary tax authorities would have been notified, especially in the Nigerian claims. We'll talk about the NRS. Automatically, they will generate a tax ID for your business. Now, this tax ID, which is generated for your business, you yourself would know that you have to visit the necessary tax authorities, which is the Nigerian Revenue Service, within your jurisdiction to let them know about your business by submitting your CAC, your utility bill, the director's name slip, and an active email and phone number, so as to get the authorities notified and that you have come to make yourself known. Then you also visit the Inland Revenue Service, that's the State Inland Revenue Service within your jurisdiction also. Maybe if your state, you visit the state, if it's a county, you know there's authorities who need to visit, to do the same that's done inland for the Nigerian Revenue for the Revenue Service of the federal body. Now we move to getting your licenses early. You know the kind of business that you do will determine the kind of license you get. That's why we'll name it sector-specific licensing and sandboxing. When we talk about sandboxing, we bring about the center.
But disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands. A
My
billion.
name is Benny Boy Mandela, PhD. And that's it.
We'll feed the world. Skileman. We are the movement. Skileman. The future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name.
Is she ready? Yes. Okay, she's ready. Okay. So we just have Mrs. Nkuruka back in the building. So we're going to be welcoming Mrs. Nkuruka, which is a youth advocate, and she'll be taking us on the profitability of Skileman. So Mrs. Nkuruka, you're welcome on board. It's a privilege to have a wonderful youth advocate in our garden and in our midst. Thank you so much. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for Mrs. Nkuruka Timothy to round up herself and come on the live, if you have any questions you feel like you want to ask, we've had them talk about MVP, we've had things. I think Mrs. Nkuruka is coming on board. Hello, Mrs. Nkuruka Timothy. To hear what you have to say. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, honestly, I'm very sorry. However, she's having no technical issues, network has been messing up the space. So please bear with us as we wait for Mrs. Nkuruka to join us. In the meantime, if you have any question you feel like you want to ask, then feel free. So while we are still waiting for the guests, like I told you guys about, if you have any question you'd like to ask, you've heard them talk about Skileman. There's some things they might have said that you need clarity on. You need them to throw more highlights about it. You need more insights about it. We know they say they're registered. We know the service they offer. Maybe you have questions on how you can participate, maybe as a worker, which is a school professional, or probably also as somebody who's interested in buying revenue shares, since you have taught us about the MVP unit, then please do well to gather your questions and we are right here for you to answer those questions. Once again, thank you for joining and sticking to us this far. This is your opportunity
From the dust of a workshop floor
what's Skileman?
to the
This is an
light.
opportunity for you guys to ask questions.
And in a greater age, the welder, the barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen, millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands, a billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survives without the worker. No empire rises without skill. Every tower, every network, every road was built by human will. Not just labor, not just survival, but dignity organized at scale. A system born from execution, too powerful to fail. Now the world is watching. The giants are turning. A new infrastructure is emerging. Not for the privileged few, but for the builders of civilization.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. When the skill of humanity
Hello?
stood together.
Hello? 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 Hello, am I being heard? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me? Okay, ma, you're live. Okay. Okay, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
You can go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, ma. I can hear you, ma.
Am I
Go
being
ahead,
heard?
doctor.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. Sorry, we're actually behind schedule. We just have to make it snappy. At any point you can't hear me, please let me know so that I can adjust. All right, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished professionals, entrepreneurs, visionaries, and the extraordinary youth of our time. Good day, all. It is both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as we explore a topic that sits at the very heart of sustainable growth and shared prosperity. Let me tell you a short story. A few years ago, I met a young man, bright, determined, full of promise. He did everything right, went to school, got a good grade, but he could not find a job. Months turned into years, and confidence slowly turned into doubt. One day he said something I will never forget, and that is, I went to school, but I don't know how to work. Then something changed. He enrolled in a simple skill program, practical hands on training. 6 months later, he got employed. Within a year, his income transformed. And today, he employs others. That transformation did not come from a certificate, it came from skills. And this is why we are here today. The profitability of skill infrastructure development in an emerging economy. Let's ground this in reality. In many emerging economies, including across Africa, a significant percentage of graduates remain underemployed, not because they lack education, but because they lack market relevant skills. Underline the word relevant skills. This is not a talent problem, it is a skill infrastructure problem. What is skill infrastructure? Skill infrastructure is not just about training. It is a system that transforms potential into productivity. It includes vocational and technical centers, digital learning platforms, apprenticeship, innovation hubs, and mentorship networks. Simply put, how a nation builds capability at scale. Why is it profitable? Economic profitability. Skills increase productivity, innovation, and output. A skilled workforce doesn't just work, it creates value. And when scaled, GDP grows, economies stabilize, nations compete globally. Business profitability. To the entrepreneur here, what is really limiting your growth? Not ideas, not markets, talent. Skill gap costs time, it costs quality, and it costs revenue. But with the right skill ecosystem, hiring improves, scaling accelerates, and profit increases. Let me pause here. Think of someone you know, a graduate, a young person, maybe even yourself. Now answer silently. If this person had the right skills today, what would change? Income, confidence, opportunities. Now multiply that across millions. That is the true return on skill infrastructure. Social impact. Skill development reduces unemployment, dependency, frustration. So many of our youths today are being frustrated due to lack of job. But if we can put the right skills in place, we see that without job, when I mean job, I mean white collar job, you can feed yourself comfortably. You can even employ others. And it increases confidence, innovation, self reliance. It transforms waiting into creating. We have so many of our youths today out of school. We have so many graduates. We are busy waiting for white collar jobs. We even have so many that have graduated for so many years, yet they are waiting for who will employ them. But had it been after school, you had a particular skill that you've learned that after your years in school and you're not able to get work, you put that into practice. You see that instead of waiting, you will be creating value. Not just creating value for yourself or your immediate family. You as well will create value that will transform the nation globally because you definitely will employ others, thereby reducing unemployment. Then let me talk to the professionals we have in here. Don't just grow, develop others. Your knowledge multiplies when shared. Because sometimes we believe we are professionals and we know it all. But when you see that, when you share that which you know with others, you see that it multiplies. There's a multiplier effect to that. Why the entrepreneur we have here? That skills, treat skills as strategy, not expense. Build talent pipelines. To my dear youths and students we have here, hear this clearly. Certificate open doors, skills keep them open. Sometimes we think that just going to school, going to through the four walls of school will keep us at that place or at that pace where we desire in life. Certificate, what certificate does is that it opens doors because you are educated, you can differentiate right from good. It opens doors for you. But if you have a particular skills, say for instance, you are employed in a company where they are into tech, for instance, and it happens that you're a computer graduate. You don't have that skills of maybe having to lose the note or to check a particular system to see if it's faulty or to know what the fault is. Or for instance, maybe there is a program that the company needs to run. If you are a programmer, you see that not just that you are a computer graduate, you have another skills added to that your certificate. With that skills, you see that you have edge over so many persons or over so many of your counterparts that graduated with you with that same certificate. There are so many today that have that graduated as, let me say, I use that computer graduate as instance because that is where you come into a company, engineering company for instance, and you see somebody wanting to and you see somebody coming up to, telling the boss, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. Apart from that which you are employed for, you see that it makes you valuable. It makes you stand at edge over other of your colleagues. When there is new opening, you will definitely be looked upon, and that will increase what? Your pay. Then the multiplier effect. Skill infrastructure creates a circle. Skills plus job plus income plus business growth plus more jobs. This is how economies transform. Cost of ignoring it. Without skill development, talent is wasted, business stagnant, youth frustration rises, potential becomes liability. The way forward. We all have a role to play. The government must invest, institutions must evolve, individuals must act. Skill development is not optional, it is essential. Ladies and gentlemen, the true wealth of any nation is not buried underground. It is walking around, waiting to be developed. Every skill we build, every person we empower, Every opportunity we create moves us forward. So I leave you with this. Don't just ask what your economy can give you. Ask what skills you can contribute. Because in the end, nations don't rise because of resources, they rise because of capable people. Thank you for your time and thank you for being here waiting for this long to have this speech. Over to you, the host.
The lands no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman, we are the movement. Skileman, the future is human. From Africa to every nation, building the world through creation. 3 billion voices, one global flame. The skill economy remembers our name. No king survived.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kirk Timothy. We appreciate your effort for you to come in here and educate us. We appreciate that, and your speech was beautiful. So, thank you to all of you out there who are still watching with us. So, we're going to move over to the question and answer sections. So, we have some few questions over here for the CEOs, and I proceed with the first question. It says, I want to know if this app would be available in 24 hours. Repeating myself because I know that the network is stuck. So the first question I have here says, I want to know if this app would be active in 24 hours.
Okay, so I'll just be addressing that question like someone's asking a question, which will be available. So what we are looking at is the app testing. But it's not going to be public generally on Google Play. So we can't mislead you on that.
The network is a bit hacky, I apologize for that. So if you're done with the first question, the network is a bit tacky, and I apologize for that. It's even slow for me. So I'm going to proceed with the second question. How does Skileman coordinate the system? I repeat for clarity's sake. How does Skileman coordinate the system? People want to know how does Skileman coordinate the system? How do they plan to coordinate the system to ensure that this thing doesn't end, that it's still going? Okay, they are experiencing some technical issues in network. I sincerely apologize. Network has been really frustrating. So in the meantime, I'm going to wait for them. But if you have other questions, please send them right away. Okay, can you hear me
Okay,
now?
what was the question? Can you hear me from your end?
Okay, the second question was how does Skileman coordinate the system? Could you hear the question?
Okay, how does schema coordinate the system? Okay, we talked about that thing. Why? Yes. Okay. As I hear the question, can I go on? Okay. So when it comes to that question, how does schema coordinate the system? One of the things I would just like to let you know, because we'll say something about that. Schema coordinates learning. Schema also coordinates jobbing and the rest of it. I think we made reference to that. I can't remember the exact word. So schema coordinates it through an application. It coordinates different systems through its designed application. So by that application, schema can control jobbing and control many other things. So I think that is summarize the answer. We can still ask if there's any other question.
Okay, I couldn't hear you clearly. Do apologize for that because of my network. But I'm moving over to the third question, and it's a very important question, even for I myself. It says we have other jobbing platforms. How does Kilman intend to make a difference? Can you hear me, please?
Okay. I think your question, like we have other jobbing platform, right? How does schema intend to make a difference? Was that the question that was asked? Okay. Can I go on?
Yeah, you can go on. I can hear you
Okay.
now.
So what address that question by saying we have other platforms and other systems,
Please, did you answer
but
the third
the
question
schema
that I
platform
said?
to uh, offer special and premium features which benefit skill professionals in the field. And that will be schema unique selling points, and which we talked about verification of skill workers. We talked about there are other platforms, but it's kind of fragmented. Their solutions are fragmented, but Skileman is an infrastructure that combines everything together and providing a full solution to the world. So that is what you can also talk about.
Have, have you answered the
Is there any
question,
other
please?
question maybe that you want?
Please, can you hear me?
can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
please, can you hear
Yes.
me? You
I hear
told
you.
somebody
Go
to
ahead.
hear me. Okay. We're going to the first question, which is also the last question I have here. It says, how does Skillman intend to make skill visible to the clients? Should I repeat myself?
Okay, I didn't majorly get the question. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so let me repeat the question for clarity's sake. I said, how does Skillman intend to make skill visible to the clients? That's our first question.
Okay, got that. Okay. So schema make skill visible to the client by promoting the client through its application, its system. So let's say the client is looking for a service. The schema application that can grant the client the ability to access those services. So that's what schema does. So it makes skill visible to who? To the client. Because it showcases skills to the client. That's what schema does. It's an application designed for skills.
Okay,
Okay.
so I don't really have a question right here, but personally, I have a question I would like to ask, and I think my question is coming from the masses. Because as a Nigerian, I know how we think when we see stuff like this. I know what comes into our minds. I would like to ask a question. Can I?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so what actually differentiates this project Skillman from a Ponzi scheme? Can you educate us on that?
Okay, what differentiates schema project from a Ponzi scheme? The question is kind of funny. So, but what differentiates schema from a Ponzi scheme? Because a Ponzi scheme is not real. It's not a real business model. That's just a simple word for that. A Ponzi scheme is not real. So it's a design, a fraudulent design to scam people. But something that is going to provide real economic value to society. People could get jobs, people could as it's something contributing to society. As a client needs a service, you can get a professional is in need of a client, they can access them. So it's not a Ponzi scheme. And even in our, we don't give promises. Even in people coming into the schema platform, we're not trying to give you a fixed promise that this is you're going to make a billion or the rest of it. We just make you to understand that it's a free participation and you can be part of it to be part of the benefit attached to it. But we know we are going a long way, and this is the early stage you can be, and any particular system. I don't know if there's any other question in your opinion.
Yeah, I heard you. Thank you so much for what you said. I believe that myself, other persons that are streaming this, have had a clear understanding of what schema is all about and why it should not be associated by any means to the Ponzi scheme. So I'm going to move over to the next section, which
So I
has to do
don't
with
get to.
the technical issues, apologizing for the inconvenience. So the next phase we are moving to is the app phase. So let's wait for them to quickly get back on screen and give us a display of the app. Once again, I apologize for the inconvenience. Network has been mercy, like so mercy, and it's actually even affecting us honestly. Like a lot of things we have to say and do, but network is not really on our side. Apologies for that. Thank you guys for streaming. So we have to wait for them, but we guys have heard what the project is about, right? You guys know what to expect. So what we talk about skill professionals, I want to add in the meantime before they come back. So what we talk about skill professionals, we're not talking about the skill men who are doing carpentry, tailor, and plumbing jobs. We are not exempting the degree holders. You have a degree and you want to be part of us. Maybe in terms of being a revenue shareholder, maybe in terms of being a worker, you can also own an account. Once the app is fully launched live, you can create your profile, you can start promoting your services. It doesn't always have to be brand. You can actually still promote your brand. Maybe you sell jewelry, you sell your ring, you sell different kind of things. You can put it out there. Anybody who comes to your profile, see what you're selling or see the product the service you're offering, can simply just reach out to you. Our app is very well designed. Mobile, it is quick to understand and easy to operate. Basically, just come on the site, or should I say your personal profile. So that was our anthem. Skileman anthem. Videos we take back to it. Moment is coming, guys. Moment is coming. We're still going to be waiting for them to come back and show us the app display. And then to kiss them back, it's very frustrating. So like I was saying, we have our anthem, our Skileman songs, and we really love you guys to encourage us by creating videos with it. We want to see you tag us, we want to see you repost our stuff, we want to see you engage and involved in what we are doing. Because honestly, this vision that we have is not just only for ourselves, it's for you, it's for everybody out there. So we want to see everybody get involved with this. We want to see everybody Skileman, the movement. We want to see you vibing. We want to see you putting in your energy. And we also want to see you make that way. We want to see your results coming out to announce that hey, you got this gig from Skileman, you got this opportunity from Skileman. And even the best part of this is that this platform is not limited, whereby certain people from certain country cannot join. It's global. It's global, which means from any part of the world you can be part of this. You can meet international customers, increase international relationships.
Runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.
They build systems for money, systems for machines, systems for movement, but nobody built a system for human skill. From the dust of the workshop floor to the light of the global stage, hands that carried broken nations now awaken in a greater age. barber, the mason, the teacher, the builder of cities unseen. Millions strong but disconnected, invisible inside the machine. Now hear the sound of the rising hands. A billion dreams across the lands, no longer hidden, no longer small. The skill economy will feed the world. Skileman.
Okay. So good day once again. So today we are going to show you app the demo. Okay. So I'm going to just go. So basically, you can use your continue with Google, which is familiar with me. Then you can for the custom setting. If you don't want to use this skill mail, you can just write your username. It will just automatically fill in with the at skileman.com, your phone number, then your password. Then you click on create. Okay, create. Then this is the process. Then you fill in your name, which is your first name, your surname, your last name. You proceed now. Then this way you can
So, apologies, they are having technical issues.
okay. So okay. So you can fill in maybe people that are interested to follow those that help shaping came out at people. You can follow them, view for more. Then you continue. You can set maybe you want the SMS and message. Just basically look the enter into schema. Voila. This is schema application. Yes. So this is schema application whereby when we talk about a social jobbing platform, this is the visibility of it. A social jobbing platform indeed. So we have status. Go back. The same way we have our status on social media, comments. So I'm just giving you a brief tour of the application. You are going to see more on your own. That's why you also have access to Also, so we have a trending page. This trending page, this is where you see trending people. We have trending people. We have trending videos. These videos on Skileman choice. This is Skileman choice. It's like reels of the current search. And you can click on okay. So we have where we go to people. The trending people in school. We have trending professionals. You can see the top professionals, the top 1,000 professionals globally. But currently on our current scale, you'll be seeing the top 50 professionals. As we scale, it also increase. So we go to the top business. We talk about trending businesses. You can see cybercaf and etc. A lot of business we have trending videos. You can go in and see the trending videos. You have the video page. Something in just scroll. That's it. Then we'll go back to the skill field. Okay, we have the skill field. Then sorry, sorry. Then this is the notification page. You can also receive notification on some things we do on social media. This is what we're going to be getting used to in the schema system for the next 2 weeks before the professional mode is being activated. So these are the videos up here. Skills, type of skills, businesses, yes, and also reports video. This has going to also be displayed on the schema application. So there's a lot of things to discover here on the schema. Okay, so this is the posting method. You can post schema choice. Whenever a short videos like reels, yes, like reels. When we talk about schema choice, talk about reels, and you can edit your profile, post story, highlights, live, and also AI guidance, and you can promote your account using the schema system. So there's a lot of things that's in the system. You are going to interact with all this. This is the booking page. Yeah, this is the booking page. Um, you're getting used to this, the flow and the rest. These are this. This is the detail about um, the job. Okay. Before the app will be released to everyone publicly, as we said, and in line to the maybe the policy of Google Play. So we have to take a lot of some time to fully publish on you on the Google Play Store. To remember, we're building an infrastructure is gradual. Everything is gradual. You can still start from nothing, and we have something to show. So it's a gradual process, and we begin to interact with the platform in some hours, and for the rest, in that this art sign on the screen, art sign, okay. You click on it, you will be redirected to the message page and interact with the interface. So that's more like it. So I think we'll be stopping here for the demo, the preview of the app. You also get in touch with this yourself. So Those who are interested, selected, then the first 10 person have access to the application and test it themselves. Okay, so I think we're stopping here for today. Hand it up to the host. Listen, can take over from here.
Okay, we have now seen how the app looks like. We have also get to understand how it works, and like I said earlier, it is very easy for you to operate. It is very easy for you to use because you can understand the features that are on the app. So that's something that you need a professional or you actually need a manual guide on how to operate it. So thank you guys for sticking with us this far. It's not easy. We know we have our own shortcomings in terms of our delay and in terms of our technical issues relating to network. We also thank you guys for enjoying all of that. Anyway, this virtual conference is coming to an end now. If you want to know more, then I'm inviting you all to join our online seminar on our Telegram group. And the link to the Telegram group is going to be in this video and also in our official channel where you got the invite to join this particular virtual conference. So see you once again on Monday. As for now, thank you. But also feel free, if you have any other questions you would like to ask, even if we can't address them now, though we still have some few time.
When history speaks, it will not remember who talked the most. It will remember who built the future. And when the skill of humanity finally stood together, the world changed forever.
Skileman, across every border. Skileman, a new world order. Not built on noise, not built on fame, but built by the hands that carry the flame. 3 billion strong, one rising sun. The age of the skill economy has begun. Skileman!
The world runs on skill, and now skill has infrastructure.